In this episode of The Local Feed, blueberries abound at the Chatham Berry Farm.
We have a lot of New Jersey varieties. That's where I'm from, it's what I knew.
We bake a double blueberry pie at Pieconic.
People often ask me, Christopher, why do you call it double blueberry pie? Well, I'm glad you asked.
And everything's peachy at Love Apple Farm's authentic Mexican cafe.
You know, it's always nice to be able to walk through and just pick a piece of fruit off the tree and go ahead and have your lunch.
Funding for The Local Feed has been provided by your contribution. Thank you, and the following. For more than 30 years, CDPHP has provided healthcare coverage in upstate New York while working with local communities to encourage preventive care, healthy nutrition, and an active lifestyle. CDPHP, a plan for life.
Field Goods, local produce delivered weekly to workplace and community locations, helping people change the way they eat while supporting small sustainable farms. field-goods.com.
At M&T Bank, we understand that the vitality of our communities is crucial to our continued success. That's why we take an active role in our community. M&T Bank is pleased to support WMHT programming that highlights the arts, and we invite you to do the same.
The Troy Waterfront Farmers Market, bringing nearly 100 local farmers and fresh food vendors every Saturday 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. year-round in downtown Troy, supporting local farmers and food producers in and around the capital region.
Our region is home to an incredible bounty of stunning foods, lush farmland, and dynamic chefs. Join us for The Local Feed as we meet the dedicated farmers who care for the land and harvest the vibrant foods we eat, and meet the talented chefs who design outstanding seasonal dishes inspired by the food that surrounds them. Welcome to The Local Feed. First up, we visit Joe and Alexia of the Chatham Berry Farm, learn all about their farming philosophy, and learn about the beloved fruit favorite, the blueberry.
I'm Joe Gilbert from the Chatham Berry Farm in Chatham, New York. The farm started in 1982. It was about a 24-acre silage cornfield. We waited the next year, we planted our first crops of strawberries. We planted these blueberries back in '82. That's how old these are. We've got 24 acres of fruits and vegetables, mostly berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, you name them. We do a lot of greens, which are mostly hydroponic, tomatoes, also hydroponic greenhouse work. We do a lot of cut flowers. We do all the bedding plants, the herbs, kind of thing once you go in the store. And then once you get into the store, you'll see it's a full supermarket. We have a lot of New Jersey varieties. That's where I'm from, it's what I knew. Blue Crop, Blue Ray, which are standard. And then we have some varieties that are later, like Herberts, that nobody even grows anymore. You can't even find them to replace some of the ones that have died in the rows. Berkeley's, we've got some newer ones here. We've got another acre coming here, and then we just planted 2 more acres down in the further fields. And some of those varieties are all newer varieties. But we have about 8 varieties in here. We start picking, which is a little early this year. Things came on early, I think, with that heat. And we usually pick to about the 1st of September with some of the later varieties.
So hi, my name's Alexia Baker. I go by Allie here at the farm. So we don't have official titles here, but I guess I'm the greenhouse manager. I work inside the sales greenhouses and the production greenhouses in the propagation house. I do tours, and I help out in the farm store. Definitely being outside, interacting with people, meeting different people, meeting new people all the time. The lifestyle is pretty great too, just the farming aspect and what we do here, our practices, being a no pesticide farm and no spray.
We didn't pesticide free because I just don't want to even be handling organic pesticides. I just don't like it. Our fields get a little weedier than others. Yeah, we do a lot of handwork, which we prefer. Like last week, we went through the field and every row had a couple dozen tent caterpillar tents in them. And we got the plastic bag, cut them, put them in, and disposed of them instead of spraying them. It's not for everybody, and we do lose some stuff. But there is a symbiotic relationship that if you don't spray, that there's also beneficial insects and beneficial things that take care of. Some years easier than others. This year's very easy. When it's dry, you don't have to worry so much about, especially funguses, fungicides. Insects, not so much. Birds, I mean, some places spray blueberries with a repellent to keep the birds away. We're lucky that the high trees over there have a high concentration of hawks. And we're out in the middle of nowhere. It's a big open field. And now when you put a blueberry in your backyard, people go, oh, the birds are eating my blueberries. It's because they go up and down from the tree. They don't like to venture out here too much because they become prey themselves. We try to do things a little differently. Wider rows, it's a little bit wider, a little more airflow. Even strawberries, we've pushed apart and we actually mow the centers for better disease control for us. And it works for us.
I would say that the community is pretty close-knit. We have a very large influence of people that come up from the city, which is awesome. They are huge for our farm store and they're great patrons. And a lot of people I refer to as locavores, so they enjoy shopping locally and supporting local businesses. So a lot of the community that shops here at the farm, they understand that we're an integral part of the community and they try to help out the business because it is a small family-owned business.
It comes through for you. Like any small community, it knows everything you're doing before you know you're doing it too. It's amazing. Somebody gets hurt around here, somebody needs something in need, that the community just comes in around, and that's great.
Blueberry season this year has actually started a little bit earlier for us. Initially it was late, like the blossoms were coming on and we're like, oh wow, things are a little slow right now. And then all of a sudden we had these crazy warm days. We had a heat wave of 90-degree weather for an extended amount of time. So it really brought on the ripening of the fruit. The blueberries went from a slight blush to blue. It almost seemed overnight. So we had all this immediate ripening of the fruit and we actually began U-pick season earlier.
You'll see, like in about 3 weeks, these rows will be pretty empty because these were the first ones to start going. There's always a straggler. You can probably come here in October and find a little branch with some blueberries on for late bloomers. And then, like I said, there's a big row in the middle there. They won't be picked until mid-August. And then there's a couple rows over here that don't even start usually till September. So that continue. We did that for reasons so we can continually supply the farm stand. Farming, I'm lucky. I like it. It's my escape. We all have escapes. I go to a greenhouse. I'm extremely lucky to found something I like and make a go of it too.
I tell people it's not a 9 to 5. It's one of those things like you'll end up working 70-hour work weeks, 12-hour days. It's tough, but at the same time it's gratifying because you're nurturing something, you're growing something, you're creating life, and then you get the benefit of watching people enjoy it. So it's kind of like a full circle type thing, whereas in some jobs you're doing something and you don't know what the outcome is. Here I get to plant a seed, I watch the plant grow, I sell the plant to somebody, they either plant it in the garden and eat it and enjoy it and they tell me about it, and that's just amazing because I know that I had some part in it and I had some part in their happiness. So just having that impact on people's lives locally and then seeing them again day after day is pretty awesome.
My future hope is it continues. I'd love to see it as a farm. My idea of retirement would be a 40-hour week. That'll be great, because I wouldn't know what to do. I'd be out here anyway, because that's your life.
Next, Christopher and Nicole of Main Street Goodness, home of Pieconic, take those beautiful blueberries and turn them into a double blueberry pie. As Christopher says, it's easy.
Welcome to Main Street Goodness, the home of Pieconic, New York. My name is Christopher Knabel, and with my wife Nicole Maggio Knabel, we are the proprietors and owners of Main Street Goodness.
I'm Nicole Maggio Knabel, and we are at 20 Main Street in Chatham, New York.
Well, what don't we do? A little bit of everything. Some baking, some cooking, some floor sweeping, some bottle washing, whatever it takes. Typical small business, the whole family's involved.
We have a full-service cafe, and we serve breakfast, lunch, and a light supper from 8 a.m. till 7 p.m., 7 days a week. And we also are known for our hand pies, which are called pasties in some parts of the world, or empanadas in other parts of the world. And we started out baking pies and hand pies, and now we moved over to savory pies. So we do some lovely pies, we have juices and smoothies. We're going to do smoothie bowls. We have fantastic coffee from Irving Farm. We have lovely organic teas from Reishi Tea and Harney & Sons as well.
So I think what's interesting is that we have two businesses in one. So obviously we have the cafe, Main Street Goodness. And then we have our in-house bakery, which is Piconic, which is a pie-focused bakery. But we do everything. We do custom cakes, we do birthday cakes, we do custom pies, we do vegan, we do gluten-free. So we try and make sure whether you're in the cafe having breakfast, lunch, or supper, or whether you just come in for a baked good, that there's something for everybody. Now we're gonna do our double blueberry pie. People often ask me, Christopher, why do you call it double blueberry pie? Well, I'm glad you asked. Well, it's because we use 2 pints of beautiful blueberries from Chatham Berry Farm. And that's just one of the many incredible ingredients that we have to work with here in Columbia County in the Hudson Valley. We've got a 3/4 cup our white sugar, we've got 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, we've got half a teaspoon of cinnamon, we have our pie shell which is already done, we've got some lattice that's already cut, we've got our egg wash. Okay, so the pie crust, everybody says, oh my gosh, pie crust, I can't do it, it's impossible. It is very easy. This is a really simple crust. It's just flour, sugar, butter, a little bit of salt, and surprise, surprise, vodka. That's one of the many great ingredients that we have here in the Hudson Valley. We use a beautiful core vodka, which is made from apples and therefore gluten-free. One of the things that makes pie crust tough is if there's a lot of gluten formed. And so we like to use a gluten-free vodka from Harvest Distilleries. They're here in Columbia County in Valatia, and that's part of what makes our pie crust so good. So we have our crust already made. We've got our fresh blueberries, and because they're just picked, you just want to take a quick look, make sure that you've got all the stems off, all the leaves, make sure they're nice and clean. So we douse them in a little bit of water. And the other advantage of that is we're going to get them nice and wet because we want to be able to mix them with the cornstarch, the sugar, and the cinnamon and all that. So we're just going to drain the water out. There we go. Aren't those pretty? So we're just, they don't have to be dried. Don't dry them. Very important not to dry them. Okay, so now we've got our blueberries. They're glistening with water. They're really, feel free to do that. You know, have a couple. That's part of the fun of doing it. We've got our cornstarch. We're going to throw that in. Tap it, make sure it's all in. Okay, now we're just going to mix it up with our hands. So it looks like powdered sugar, or it looks like it snowed on our blueberries or something. So that's what you want them to look like. They're covered with the cornstarch now. They're beautiful, they're shiny, and they're ready for the sugar and the cinnamon. So you're gonna pour in the sugar like that. Again, that's 3/4 cup of white sugar, a half teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay, so that's all in. And we're gonna mix it up. And what you want is you want the sugar to stick to the blueberries. All right, and that's why we want the blueberries wet. So you're just gonna get it all mixed up there. See, there we go. See how all the sugar and the cinnamon and everything nice is on there? All right, so we're gonna just throw our blueberries in there. And you're going, I know what you're saying, you're going, oh my gosh, Christopher, that's so easy. Oh my gosh, I could do that. That's incredible. How do you do that? Well, you can do it too, no problem, so easy. Okay, so all your blueberries are in there. Look how pretty that is. Nice plump blueberries. You want to just eat them from the pie shell, but no, we're not going to do that, not yet. All right, so now we're going to do the lattice. I tell you, the lattice scares me a little still to this day. I've done hundreds of lattices, it still scares me a little bit, but again, it's easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a 4-3 diamond lattice. No, it's not a football play. No, it's not a baseball call. It is a pie latticing strategy. So we're going to do 4 strips of lattice. These are about 1 inch across. We're going to just drop one right through the center there. Look at that. Look how easy that was. Okay, so we're going to do 4 of those. And we're going to try and make sure they're somewhat even. So you've got 4 strips of lattice across there. So now for the fun part is how to make the diamond. So we're going to go the other way. We're going across. So this always confuses me a little bit, the up, down, the under, the over. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to go over and under. You're going diagonally across the pie. There we go. And you're going to do 3 more strips like that. So So we've got one more because we're doing a 4-3. That means 4 strips across the bottom, and then we're doing 3 strips across the top. All right, so we're sort of picking them up, layering them like that, going across that way, over, under. I always do a little bit of check to try and make sure that it's relatively even. All right, so basically what you're gonna do now is you're gonna take the pieces that are hanging over and you're just gonna tear them off. All right, here we go. We're continuing, we're just sort of ripping off the ends there. Okay, there we go. So now relatively the lattice is sort of even with the pie crust. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold over. We're gonna sort of fold it over like that, and then we're just gonna sort of tuck it. We're gonna go around and we're gonna sort of tuck it in like that. We're gonna bring it in. You know, everybody's got their methodology. There's no right, there's no wrong. You may have your own system. Your grandmother taught you a different way. That's all fine, it's all good. That's the great thing about pie. Pie is individual. Everybody's got a pie story no matter where in the world you are. All right, that is pretty much ready to go. Now I've got my egg wash, so this is just egg yolk. You've got your brush. Now you're just gonna sort of paint it, because what this is gonna do is this is gonna give you a lovely golden brown when it comes out. We're going to preheat our oven, because again, we always want to preheat the oven, and we're going to bake it at 330 for 30 to 40 minutes until you see the sides bubbling. It's ready to go in. Now some people, they like to sprinkle some things on top. That's all good too. Again, it's your pie, you do with it what you will. So there we go, it's ready to go into the oven. Again, 330 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 to 40 minutes. Dun, dun. Okay, we hope you'll visit us soon at Main Street Goodness and enjoy some of our fine Pyconic pie.
They may have apple in their name, but Love Apple Farm is also home to a bevy of peaches. Join us as we spend time on the farm with Keith and visit their authentic Mexican cafe for some peachy treats.
People get really excited about peaches. It's, you know, it's a crop that they really look forward to. I think it's kind of like the start of the summer crop. I'm Keith Bogdanovich, and this is Love Apple Farm in Ghent, New York. I am the operation manager. I oversee their orchard. Love Apple, actually the orchard was planted in the late 60s. The family, the Loken family, planted it, and they owned it up to 2012. We grow quite a bit. So the season starts with berries, and we have strawberries, and then we go into blueberries, raspberries. We also have blackberries, black raspberries, gooseberries, and then it goes into cherries, and we have a nice cherry crop, both sweet and sour. And then we go to peaches, nectarines, and apples. Peaches start in July and run all the way up to September. The season starts before the peaches because we have to prune the trees. So we do pruning, and then once the pruning's done, then there's some spraying involved. And then it comes to picking time, and we start picking. And we'll pick, let's say on a day like today, and then maybe 2-3 days from today we'll pick again. And a lot of it is weather determined too. Like if we get a lot of rain, the peaches will be like right now, a lot of peaches are ready all at the same time, so there's a lot more picking to be done. There's a lot of different varieties of peaches. We have donut peaches, also kind of known as saucer peaches. We have Red Haven peaches, and then there's a bunch of different varieties, different timing. You have early peaches, middle peaches, and late peaches. We do the IPM method, which is integrated pest management. So we try to do low spray and spray less. I mean, nobody really wants to spray because it's expensive, and obviously there's environmental reasons too. But here in the Northeast, it's really difficult with the weather not to spray. Yeah, just growing in general is, it's a tough business. It's not easy. With the weather, I mean, if we go back to 2016, we didn't even have a peach crop because it was too cold. We got that cold spurt and it took out the crop. Last year was a good year. This year's been a little difficult because it was real dry early, and now it's a little too wet. So every year's kind of different. As far as this orchard goes, it's too small to not have more. To just do wholesale fruit, you have to have quite a large operation, and this would be just too small to do wholesale. So that's why you have to really rely on the U-Pick in the community and doing the market, having the retail market. And to bring people in, we also have like a little petting zoo and an art space. So we try to do more to draw people, and that way they can have a full day experience here. My sell would be if I'm down there in the store, or even if I'm out here in the orchard and somebody's hesitant about, what's this like? I just basically just give them a piece and tell them to try it, and usually the fruit will sell itself. Well, there's a lot going on. So I oversee the picking crew, and then also there's a retail store. I oversee the retail store. I do have a store manager, and we have a bakery and a cafe. So I kind of oversee the total operation. Well, the funny things that happen are like when somebody will come up in March wanting to pick apples. That's always good for a little laugh.
People don't understand.
I guess they see them in the grocery store and they think that they're available all year round. It's always interesting when somebody lets the animals out of the petting zoo, so you get to chase animals for a few hours. There's always fun stuff. There's great stuff when parents come up to you and go, hey, this is a great place, my children love it, and we love it, and we'll be back.
My name is Philip Schools. I am the executive chef at Love Apple Farm. Today we are going to make a shrimp and peach salad. It's an excellent appetizer to start for a party. It's going to be lightly poached shrimp, some fresh peaches, a little bit of fennel, red pepper. I use queso fresco, but you can use feta cheese, which is a little more accessible in most stores, some fresh tarragon, and some fresh scallions. We're going to toss that in a vinaigrette of rice wine vinegar, olive oil, a little bit of curry powder, and some honey. It's going to be excellent. With shrimp, you're going to buy peeled and deveined shrimp. You're going to poach it in simmering water, never boiling water. Only takes about 5 minutes, and you immediately want to put it into ice water. Once that comes out, for larger shrimp, you're going to slice it in half lengthwise. Give you a little more shrimp to go with. We're gonna add the shrimp first. Once you have the shrimp in the bowl, you're gonna add the peaches. Leave the skin on for this. It makes for a much better product. Some nice julienne red peppers. Very thinly shaved fennel. Fennel works really good with most seafood. It has a really crisp taste that goes well with shrimp and most fish. We're going to add some chopped scallions and some fresh tarragon. I don't like to chop the tarragon because it gives it a nicer look. We're going to add some fresh crumbled cheese. Again, I use queso fresco, but feta is a very similar cheese. We're going to toss all the ingredients together gently. So this is our vinaigrette. Again, rice wine vinegar, olive oil, curry powder, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of lemon juice, and some salt and pepper. I'm going to give this a nice toss. This is a salad that's best eaten fresh as soon as you make it. Does not hold well in your fridge. I'm going to place this in the center of the platter, and we're going to put just a touch more tarragon on there. And there you have it. Peach is really a summer vegetable. You want something light, generally cold. Peach pie is great slightly towards the end of peach season when peaches are starting to be really overripe. But mid-season, you want fresh flavors. bright, fresh, cold salads work really well with peaches. This would seem like a very simple salad, but when you add a curry vinaigrette, it really brings out a lot of interesting and unique flavors with what's going on.
Thank you for joining us for the local feed. For more food, fun, and farming, visit us online at wmht.org/localfeed. See you next time.
Funding for the local feed has been provided by your contribution. Thank you, and the following. For more than 30 years, CDPHP has provided healthcare coverage in upstate New York while working with local communities to encourage preventive care, healthy nutrition, and an active lifestyle. CDPHP, a plan for life.
Field Goods, local produce delivered weekly to workplace and community locations, helping people change the way they eat while supporting small sustainable farms. Field-goods.com.
At M&T Bank, we understand that the vitality of our communities is crucial to our continued success. That's why we take an active role in our community. M&T Bank is pleased to support WMHT programming that highlights the arts, and we invite you to do the same.
The Troy Waterfront Farmers Market, bringing nearly 100 local farmers and fresh food vendors every Saturday 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. year-round in downtown Troy, supporting local farmers and food producers in and around the capital region. Closed caption support provided by